my name is Gaby Gomez. I'm a script supervisor, and I got into this because when I went to film school, I was a directing fellow, and I asked one of my teachers how to practice the craft of directing, and they said, script supervising is one of the best ones because you get to be in the world of the script all the time, as well as the world of the production. It's a difficult job, but it's fascinating. You have to be, kind of like a little bit of one step in post-production, a little bit of one step in production, and just try to inform everything and be the glue and just be a few steps ahead of everything and just bring things up at a timely manner, and just be supported to the team.
Some people think scripty is just like a continuity thing, but there's a lot more than that goes into it, right?
What kind of justifies the job is called continuity, but yeah, it's continuity is a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically you kind of make sure that everything that it's on the page makes it to the screen. But yes, that's not only continuity. It'll be lines. It'll be figuring out the shots so they go into the cut of the film and or the TV show or whatever you're doing, and it's just a way to kind of be the representative of the editor on set. That's the whole point, like that, and that whatever that entails, which it's coordinating camera, coordinating sound, in terms of the slates and everything that goes into where it's supposed to go. So it's a bit hard to kind of explain it into one little bit, but it's a lot of moving pieces. And it doesn't help that there's it was a one-person department. So then it's almost like, you are your own kind of world, and not a lot of people know everything that we do kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I find fascinating too.
How long have you been doing it?
I started in 2011, so I guess it's a good chunk of years right now. It's 2024, so that's over,
almost 15 years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's and it started like that, just kind of finding my groove on set, and so it's been a good chunk, and I'm kind of I find myself to be a little bit of an odd script sub in the sense that I do it all. A lot of people kind of they specialize in one thing. They do the commercials or TV shows or movies. I do it all because I like all of it, all of the medias, but it is quite different when you do one or the other.
Yeah.
So, it kind of depends on the project, and it depends on the show. So
for someone who wants to get into script souping, what is your advice to them?
Well, the thing about script supervising is that, yes, you kind of train to know the basics and the logic that goes into it, because you do certain reports that go into post-production and to the producer's side, the writer's side. A lot of people feed from your work, so you do have to train for that, but at the same time, shadowing somebody, it's not always easy. But nowadays we kind of the scripts that do it have been fighting to get people to grandfather them into the job, because it's not easy to just jump in and be like, hey, what do we do here? And you're like, panic, and you only have a few seconds to answer a lot of times when you are asked questions, so you have to be on top of it all the time. And what I recommend is that just reach out to the unions, reach out to reach out to schools, because any job, any student film, it's a great practice. But also watch movies, and try to figure it out. The idea is that you as a script super are kind of you're kind of reverse engineering. When you read the script, you have to come up with a way of, well, this is this shot, or this is this other shot. You have to imagine how it's going to be cut. And you have conversations with the directors, you have conversations with the writers and the showrunners, or anybody, if you're able to. And from that, you're able to kind of see, if you're getting coverage, or if you're, meaning not getting coverage, if you're getting covered on what you need to edit the shot. Conversations all the time with departments, with directors, with your producer, with your any information that you get. It
helps you.
Absolutely, and it helps the people that goes into post-production. So it's almost like, you're this glue, and be there, be that person to be, able to talk to everybody. And that, I think that helps because, we're not made of, we're all humans, and we all have to double check everything. That's the point, like that nobody's like, it takes a village kind of thing.
So in your opinion, what makes a producer exceptional?
I think, oh my God, like, like producer is I find it to be like a motherly job. Like you're producing this environment, this world for everybody to come in and do our jobs. And I think what makes producer exceptional is to have like that flexibility to know how every department, every person has, which is not always easy. I see them and I admire you guys so much. That flexibility to know what every department needs, because depending on the needs of every department, for somebody like me, one thing might not matter as much as it would for camera, or vice versa, but just to not forget, like some of the pieces of that whole village, like some departments are more, are not as obvious. Like mine is a perfect example. Like a script supervisor is not as obvious. Like, a prep day would be vitally important, as opposed to, maybe somebody else that comes in on the day is not as much, but I might not care as much for, like maybe I can get by with a small kit, like that's something producer, would think about. So it's hard. I think it's, it's almost like that whole overall of having a holistic kind of like mindset to to approaching the job. I think that's what makes a producer kind of exceptional.
What is one thing you wish that producers or anyone coming up as a producer, UPM, any type of producer knew about just the realities or the struggles of your department that you feel are often overlooked?
Yeah, of my department specifically?
Yeah, your department specifically.
I think it's always overlooked that information, it's, like I have been brought into any production meeting, anything prep. I think we're always slightly overlooked in the pre-production side of things, because by the time we get to set, even though we have the script, but anything we know from the production helps us. So not all the time you're there, but it's good to know the information. So that's something that is like constantly overlooked, and rap sometimes too, because then you get to be on the other side, like when they get to post production, and then they're like you're answering questions sometimes, a month after you finish the job. So that it's so subtle. I know it, but it's important to kind of like have that involvement, because people think we just come in and then we do our magic on set, and then anything we get, it's so precious. Anything we get beforehand, all the information.
Yeah.
I find it, for example, like whenever whenever I'm supporting another script soup and I'm on second unit on Splinter, I get this copious emails from producers and be like, hey, so you're gonna be coming in and like main unit is gonna be shooting the main kind of like driving shots with the actors, the main actors, then you're kind of come in and do the stunt doubles. Just that information for me, it's huge, because I get on the day and I know that I'm going to be working with stunt doubles as opposed to main actors. Then I will have a second unit director as opposed to a main unit. Things like that sound kind of like duh. Obvious. We all know that, but I don't have access to that information unless I'm kind of privy to it. It's a tiny thing, but it's kind of a big one. So yeah, I think that makes a huge difference. So.